right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 14th Zanesville City Schools Hall of Fame induction banquet. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Rudloff. My wife would say it's pretty good you don't know me. She's had 42 years of it. I will be your master of ceremonies tonight, and we're very proud to be able to recognize this class of 2024 into our Hall of Fame. At this time, I would like to introduce the Superintendent of Zanesville City Schools, Dr. Doug Baker. Dr. Baker has taught since 1983, both in Florida as well as here in Ohio. And along the way, he has served in various capacities as a coach, a teacher, counselor, administrator. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Doug Baker.
Ladies and gentlemen, respected guests, faculty, and most importantly, our honored inductees. It is with immense pleasure and deep pride that I extend to each and every one of you a heartfelt welcome this evening to this prestigious occasion, the Zanesville City Schools Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today, we gather not only to celebrate the achievements of those individuals who have left an unforgettable mark on our school and community, but also to recognize the profound impact they have had on the lives of countless others, both near and far. As we reflect on their accomplishments, let us acknowledge the dedication, perseverance, and unwavering commitment that has guided them on their journey to excellence. Each of our inductees represents the epitome of success, embodying values of leadership, integrity, creativity, courage, compassion, and service. They have not only excelled in their respective fields, but they have also inspired others through their actions, serving as beacons of hope and inspirations for generations to come. As we honor these remarkable individuals tonight, let us also take a moment to express our gratitude to those who have supported them along the way, their families, their friends, their teachers, their coaches, and their mentors. It is through their encouragement and support and guidance that our inductees received comfort as they persevered on their journey to reach such great heights and esteem. Tonight, our inductees will be joining the long legacy of former Zanesville City Schools inductees and will be leaving as permanent members of this honored group to forever shine a light for our current students on the grand possibilities that come with hard work and dedication. There really are no shortcuts. Moreover, let us remember that the legacy of excellence does not end here. As we look to the future, let us also be inspired by the achievements of those we honor tonight and be motivated to strive to follow in their footsteps, leaving our own positive marks on our community and the world. I've been told there are 3 mandatory B's rules when giving a welcome speech, especially when it comes right before dinner. Those B's are be brief, be concise, and be seated. It is my plan to honor those tried and true rules. Therefore, in closing, I would like to extend my humble congratulations to each of our well-deserving inductees. May your achievements continue to inspire us all. May your legacy endure for generations to come. Thank you, and welcome to Zanesville City Schools Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Some housekeeping for all of you who have not been here ever before 2010 when we opened this building. Beverages other than the water that's on your table, you found those on the table back there. Those of you who have found the cheese and crackers know that's where the beverages are. If you need to use the restroom, I'm sure some of you may, you go out this hallway, you turn left, you go down the hallway, and it's right around the corner. That'll be the quickest ones to get to. So now, to offer the invocation, please welcome Mrs. Valencia Clark, who is a member of our Hall of Fame committee.
Good evening and welcome to everybody. Hope you have a wonderful time in our facility here at Zanesville High School. Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we are thankful to gather tonight to celebrate with friends and family the induction of 6 new members into the Hall of Fame. Guide them in their memories of their time in the Zanesville City Schools. Bless this food we are about to receive and the hands that prepare and serve this meal. Keep us safe in our travels as we return to our home. And all of this we do for you. Amen. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you, Valencia. Food service will begin momentarily. Enjoy your meals, folks. I feel like I need to take a nap now after that meal. I don't know about you guys. That was really good. But before we get underway, we do want to thank a few people, and in doing so, very first off, big thank you goes out to Zanesville High School for hosting tonight. And a thank you for a delicious meal tonight prepared by our district chef. Those of you who are alumni, we have a district chef, and that was the payoff tonight. Also to our food services supervisor, Kevin Williams, our district chef, Stephen Vogelsang, and members of our food services staff. And also thanks to the ZHS Key Club members and their volunteer advisor, Mindy Waite, for serving our meals. They do a great job. They do this quite often. Also in attendance tonight are members of our Board of Education and Administration, Mrs. Valencia Clark, who's president of our Board of Education. You met her earlier. Mrs. Lori Lee, vice president of the board. Board members Mrs. Lori Buchanan and Mrs. Mindy Waite. Dr. Doug Baker, whom you've met, our superintendent of schools. Mr. Mike Young, treasurer of Zanesville City Schools. Ms. Laura Tompkins, our executive director of academic leadership. Mrs. Libby Hitchens, she is principal of Zanesville High School and also a 2018 Hall of Fame inductee. And Ms. Julie Tolley, who is assistant principal at Zane Gray Intermediate School. There are also many other groups here tonight that we like to thank, and all kinds of people, and that make this event possible, and it's a lot of work that gets put into it. They're too numerous to mention, but all their names and acknowledgments are in the program if you'd like to check those out, and you can talk to those folks later if you wish. Before we begin inducting our class of 2024, we ask all of the current Hall of Fame members in attendance to please stand to be recognized. We're really happy to have you here tonight. I'm going to wait a second here so Coach App can stand up. Thank you, Coach. Our Hall of Fame committee has worked hard to select this new class, and we ask now that they please stand to be recognized, and we thank you very much for your time, effort, and contributions in doing so. Please stand. Hall of Fame committee. And now it is time to honor and induct our newest Zanesville City Schools Hall of Fame members. These individuals and one team were selected from a long list of nominees to become our 14th class, receiving at least 75% of the votes from the committee. So a matter of housekeeping again, to help keep the program moving along, we ask that the committee members accompany their inductees backstage one person in advance. The doors open around the back in the hallway, folks. You may enter the stage from either the right or left side of the stage. No wagering, please, because it could be any which way, but I'm guessing this one because that'll be a mess to get through. So let us begin. Our first inductee tonight is really inductees. The Zanesville High School boys basketball team of 1926 will always be known as the first to win this school a state championship in any sport. Under the leadership of Coach Gail Vandersdahl, the Blue Devils defeated Akron East to win the Class A title. But they didn't stop there. After some controversy, they went on to the national tournament in Chicago, where ZHS finished second place. Blue Devils lost their first game, then won 4 in a row in the consolation side of the tournament. Here tonight to accept the team's induction is Mr. Dave Pitcock. Dave is a retired Zanesville High School business teacher whose father, Myron, was a member of that championship team. Please welcome Dave Pitcock.
Thank you, Jim. Today is April the 20th. This would have been Jim McCandlish's 75th birthday. As I look out there, I see a lot of Jim's friends, and I'm proud to say that I was one of them. Jim taught art in the city schools for 30 years, and he also coached girls basketball for a lot of those years. So happy birthday, Jimmy. Okay, on to 1926 Zanesville basketball. The Devils only lost 2 games in the regular season. Both of those games were to Marietta. The first time they played Marietta, Zanesville 14, Marietta 27. In the second round when they played Marietta, Marietta 27, Zanesville 22. The reason the scores were so low is because after each basket, they had a jump ball. The leading scorer was Gene Duvall, and he, after 6 games, had 7.3 points, 7.3 an average per game. Okay, so then we went on to the tournament, Eastern Ohio Tournament in New Concord. The Zanesville defeated East Liverpool 37-22, defeated Marietta 30-16, and defeated Dover 30-20. And they moved on to the state tournament in Columbus, where they defeated Portsmouth, Cincinnati Hughes, Akron East to be Division A state champs. Then they were invited to a national tournament at the University of Chicago. They boarded the train down behind the old Rogie Hotel, which is now Zane Landing, where the bicycle trail starts. Can you imagine 100 years ago, these high school kids getting to go to Cincinnati? It's just unbelievable. The superintendent said, no, we're not going to allow you to go. You're missing too much school. The school board overrode him. The Devils got to go. And the first game in the national tournament, they lost. So in the consolation, they beat every team, and Zanesville then became number 2 in the nation. It's not a bad record for a first-year coach who was also the football coach that year. We never had a picture of the 26 state champ team in the trophy case, and I was sitting in the old gym and I saw that banner and I thought, well, I think my dad played on that team. He never talked about his accomplishments. A lot of the guys that came back from World War II were that way. They just did their thing and let it go. But my mother had the old yearbook, the Comas from 1926, and so I took the picture and had it blown up, took it to Bob Mercer, who was then on school board. He had a frame shop down on Linden Avenue, had it framed, and that's the one that you'll see when you leave out of the trophy case now. Okay, my dad, I did, from my sister, get these medals from when he played the national tournament and state tournament. And I used to take these with me when our youngest daughter, Kim, was a point guard for the Lady Devils. And these medals worked their magic because her senior year, they won the sectional. Pictures also out there in the trophy case. Thank you to the nominating committee for choosing my dad's 1926 state champ team for this honor. Thank you to my wife, my administrative assistant, for her help in having me do the research on this. Have a good evening.
What Dave didn't tell you about that deal with the superintendent back in the day is he told that school board, he goes, you send them to Chicago and I'm resigning. And they were looking for a new superintendent right after that. So, anyways, that's a good one. Our next inductee is Whitney Brown. Whitney graduated from ZHS before going on to George Washington University, where she majored in philosophy and English, and she graduated Phi Beta Kappa. A few years later, she earned a law degree from New York University's School of Law. Then she launched into a career as an activist in human rights, and her work has taken her around the globe. She has also been on the faculty at Yale University and the Barnard College of Columbia University. Whitney also has earned a black belt in Taekwondo, so be forewarned. Please welcome Whitney Brown.
Good evening. I want to start by actually thanking Ann McKinney, my friend, for nominating me for this, and as a fierce fan of Zanesville schools, Zanesville, and particularly a champion of the class of 1974. Mrs. Flack, Mrs. Montgomery, Miss Minnick, Mrs. Smith, Miss Stover, Mrs. Glenn, and Miss, help me out here, Crooks, thank you, were my elementary school teachers at Pioneer Elementary School. They're the ones that opened up the world of education for me. They were my guides. And I will never forget not understanding why island was not pronounced Island. And it was Mrs. Montgomery sitting right over there who convinced me it really is island. And to this day, I usually pronounce it properly, thanks to my first grade teacher. I went on to Hancock Junior High and Zanesville High School, where I had many amazing teachers, but there are two I want to note in particular. Mr. Davis was my history teacher at Zanesville High School. He also was an unofficial coach of the quiz team that I was on for 2 years, and I also want to shout out to two of my team members that joined us tonight. Martin Luther King says, "The arc of time bends towards justice." And as a human rights activist, I sometimes get frustrated with how long it takes to bend. But I remember Mr. Davis, who taught me in history that progress is never linear, that you need to overcome obstacles, you need to be resilient in the face of setbacks. And that lesson stays with me to this day. The second person I want to mention is Mrs. Robinson, who was my senior English teacher. Whether she was teaching a 4-line poem or a 400-page novel, she invited us to enter the world of the authors, to explore what they were opening up and sharing for us. And long before I got to see the world, I got to see it through the books, the poetry that she introduced me to. And in doing that, she also really encouraged us to live a moment in their imagination, in their lives, to really be open to the worlds that they were sharing with us, the world of dreams, the world of aspirations, the world of grief and loss, the world of dreams. And in encouraging us to do that, I learned a bit about empathy and compassion. And to the extent, in my own small way, I've tried to make the world a better place for everyone. I thank her in particular for teaching me these values. Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate this honor.
You will find the name Selena Christian still listed in the track and field record books both here at Zanesville High School and at Ohio University. In fact, if you go down behind the stadium right now, behind the grandstand, there's a big old board on there with her name on it. She still holds 4 sprint and hurdle records here and 3 more down at OU, where Selena is also a member of that school's Athletics Hall of Fame. Selena later pursued a nursing career that eventually led to her working as a corrections registered nurse for the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department from 2003 until her retirement in 2017. And in the middle of all that, she and her husband also hold a U.S. patent for developing a carry-on bag for CPAP users. Please welcome Selena Christian Safari.
I've always loved running. It was something you could do by yourself and under your own power. You could go in any direction, fast or slow, as you wanted, fighting the wind if you felt like it, seeking out new sights just on the strength of your feet and the courage of your lungs. Jesse Owens. First, I'd like to extend my deepest appreciation and gratitude to Cynthia Martin and my two sisters, Kay Walker and Robin Wilkins. Their steadfastness and tenacity and willingness to pursue and advocate for me for this wonder recognition is certainly the second most meaningful and personal honors I have received. I'm so proud and flattered to be standing here in front of you today. I had the unforgettable honor in 1994 to be inducted in the High University Track Hall of Fame, Athens, Ohio. I currently still hold 1 outdoor and 2 indoor records. With today's induction, my 4 records at Zanesville High School have withstood the test, I'm going to tell you my age, of 42 years with this honor. My fond memories and the good feeling I have of growing up in Zanesville have had a profound effect on who I am today. For it was here that I began to form a foundation of what I wanted to do. The guidance and mentorship I received as a young child started in the parks and recreation. It provided a haven for me and allowed me to tap into a gift that I had not recognized as a talent that would provide me with the opportunity to further my education. All in the name of fun, love, and kindness. I was learning about the meaning of competition, winning, losing, sacrifice, discipline, courage, integrity, and respect. My future was being shaped, molded, and formulated, but I at the time didn't realize that. I would never have imagined that I would be so fortunate to be an inductee in both my college and high school Hall of Fame. All of this makes it even more special to have been chosen by those on this committee. Track has been such an integral part in my life. The list of all the people that have had positive influences in my success as an athlete is impossible to measure or calculate. Please know that I am forever grateful. With respect to time, I will only mention a few. Terry and Karen Kopchak, Chaps Run Park Recreation Supervisors. An energetic and inquisitive kid I surely was. I constantly bombarded Karen and Terry with questions that were surely none of my business as a child. Perhaps it most likely was irritating to say the least. I wanted to know if Karen liked Terry, if the feelings from Terry was mutual. Were they going to get married? I personally thought they made a nice couple. They should think highly of that possibility. I would wonder if Terry would be coming to Chaps Run Park that day. If not, Karen, would you be going to see him at the other parks? Could I ride with you to the other parks? Karen would always return a response with her gracious smile and infectious laugh. It was at Chaps Run Park and various other parks that my days of running and competing against other young athletes began. Karen and Terry provided and supervised activities on the park, provided transportation to the other parks when needed, decided with other park supervisors for age-appropriate competitions, even including but not limited to track, basketball, race walk, tennis, board games, including checkers and chess, to name a few. The joy and love and kindness that Karen and Terry showed me and other youth at the parks was truly genuine. I always looked forward to getting to the parks bright and early. I was always the last to leave. For my humble beginnings, I would like to thank Terry and Karen for if it were not for them and the activities they provided at Chaps Run Park, my interest in and love for running may have not been such an influence in my life. Coach Wayne Clark, track and field, cross country. He was a believer in trusting in the process, learning to step outside your comfort zone, trust in yourself. This is where your potential is hidden. Your input, he would tell me, is your output. Coach Clark was my high school track coach for my 10th, 11th, and senior year. Mr. Clark saw my potential. He was a confidence builder, always reminded me that I determined how good I could be. He was always planning workouts that would make me stronger, keep me in shape, build my endurance, and would always remind me that my running could possibly provide me with a scholarship if I was willing to follow and trust the process. He would have me running the stairs in the halls of Zanesville High School when the weather was too cold to practice on the track. He asked me to try out for the women's basketball team, and I said, "What?" Was he serious? I was not a good basketball player. I was not even a good shooter. When shooting foul shots, most of the time, the ball would barely hit the outer rim. My purpose for playing basketball, he would remind me, was to stay in shape in the off season for track. I was the fastest in line drills, running the gym bleachers, running intermittent speed drills from one end of the court to the next, stealing the ball from the teammates and the opponents. Remember, Selena, if you want to get better, faster, and stronger, you have to believe in the process. I was then asked to run cross country, and I really thought he had lost his mind. I was not a distance runner. He told me, "This will help you in the 400-meter hurdles. This will help you in the 400-meter dash." I did not see it, understand it, or want to understand how a sprinter like myself could benefit from running 3, 4, or 5 miles. Sometimes he would say, "Selena, it's mind over matter. By the time you think about it, it will be done." The distance running would consist of running hills, flat terrain, time trials. It was brutal. I made it though. I at times don't know how, but I believe it's the coach's intuition, experience, and belief in the athlete that if he or she just believes and trusts in the process, success will surely follow. Mr. Clark was very instrumental in reaching out to various colleges and seeing if they were willing or interested in seeing me to do practice runs in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, 400-meter hurdles, and the 400-meter dash. It was Diane Stam at Ohio University, Athens, Ohio, who offered me a full athletic scholarship. Mr. Clark, I am forever grateful. Thank you for allowing me to believe in the process. Diane Stam, women's track coach, I am truly grateful to you for believing in my talent and providing me with that scholarship. But this allowed me to hold the Mid-American Conference 400-meter hurdle title in 1985, was a 3-time NCAA national qualifier in the 400-meter hurdles, a national sports participant in 1985, anchored the 400-meter relay championship in 1983, was the leading member for the higher 1983-84 Mid-American Women's Track and Field Championship, and of course, already mentioned, I'm a proud member of the 1994 Hall of Fame. I want to thank my husband, who has supported me since the time we met in 1982. He faithfully attended my outdoor practices, sitting in the bleachers, waiting until I had finished. He attended all the track meets, always giving me a thumbs up as I crossed the finish line. Although my workouts and my running today are not the speed of yesterday, your encouragement and enthusiasm for me and my running has never wavered. From that day that we met, thank you for your love and support. To our daughters, Satari and Soha, who unfortunately were not able to attend, we are forever grateful to you for your love and support. Your presence in our lives is a blessing. We cherish every moment we can spend with you, and you are our rock and our amazing daughters. Finally, I would like to thank my mother, Shirley C. Williams. She was my unsung hero. My mother had a tremendous impact on the success I had as an athlete on and off the track field. I credit her for her unwavering, unrelenting support, her guidance, her unconditional love and wisdom. It is my hope as the young as the younger and future generations who walk the halls of Zanesville High School, as well as those at Ohio University, Athens, and see the names and faces of the past inductees, can know that anything is possible and within reach if you never give up, believe in yourself, because we are all on a journey of discovery. Have the courage and love in what you do and believe in the process. Once again, I want to thank everyone who attended in helping me to celebrate this unforgettable occasion. Congratulations to all of tonight's inductees, and may God bless you all.
There's a whole bunch of you here for this one, right? We'll just call it Jackson Nation and be just done with it. Okay. All right, anyways, John Jackson was also a student athlete at ZHS with the emphasis on both student and athlete. He not only won numerous awards for his prowess on the football field, the basketball court, and the track, but he also earned a 3.9 GPA to finish in the top 10 of his graduating class in 1986. And he was also inducted to the National Honor Society. John then went on to earn his bachelor's degree from Miami University before graduating from Ohio State University's College of Law. And that was followed by a 30-year-plus career of corporate law, beginning in Minneapolis and now currently in Columbus with a nationwide mutual insurance company. John is also very active in civic groups in the Columbus area. Please welcome John Jackson.
Well, good evening, everybody. Let me first say thank you to all those that were involved on the Hall of Fame committee. It is very appreciative of when somebody sits back and takes the time to acknowledge the hard work that you put in throughout your lifetime. I wanted to start off by saying that my journey began back in 1968 in being a Blue Devil. And I found out that I had some really big shoes to fill. My father was a three-sport athlete and was beloved in the community. And if that wasn't bad enough, my dad made a decision that he was going to name me after John Salzberger. Quite possibly the most relevant and most beloved Blue Devil of all time. And he was my father's best friend. And so it was important to me to try to live up to the standards that they lived in accordance with and what they represented, both in terms of athletic success, academic success, and personal relationship success. And the truth is, success does not happen alone. That success is really a function of people being on the journey with you throughout your life. Because here's the truth, relationships matter. They mattered first with my father and Reverend Bullock, because they gave me the blueprint of the type of man that I wanted to be. That was a man that was athletic, that was intellectual, that was God-fearing, that was friendly, that walked and talked with a little bit of swag. We didn't call it that back in 84, 85, and 86, but they also liked to talk a little smack. And so to me, they represented the totality of a man and all the various components to it, and they were very comfortable in doing so. My godmothers that are sitting right there and right there, that are here in the room, they welcomed me into their homes as if I was their own son. As much time as I spent there, they probably wanted to take a tax deduction when it came time to do all of that. But a lot of my most fond memories were eating pie and pizza and making and eating homemade coney dogs and sloppy joes. And then Greg knows this, is that we used to just have so much fun as teenagers, surprisingly, to want to stay at his house on Friday nights playing cards and hearing his dad, when he'd win, go, T-U-E. Because relationships matter. Then we go to the people who honed in my athletic talent, and that is my head football coach, Coach Parks, and my track coach, Coach Clark. They pushed me when I didn't want to be pushed. They had expectations of me that I didn't have of myself. They had a vision for what they hoped that I would be based upon the raw talent that I brought to the table. I, like Selena, I didn't want to do all that running. I didn't want to do all the hills. But I am going on the record to say that I still believe that 1985 football team was the best that Zanesville's seen in the last 40 years. And for those that would like to debate it, I would just tell you, go to the facts, 9-1. The only loss we had was in the last 90 seconds to the person in the team that was in the state championship game. And we were ranked number 4, and we had 6 individuals that went on to play Division I football. I think we were the bomb. Coach Clark, I don't know what in the world that you did to cause me to end up in regional finals and 4 different events, had me running the 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 100-meter high hurdles, 300-meter intermediates, the 4x1 and the 4x4. Feel like an indentured servant now at this point in time in my life. But relationships matter. I have some of my best friends that are here, 55 years in the making. Gary Chandler, sitting right here, Stacy Martin, have my cousin Aaron Mail here as well. 55 years, we're sitting at just thinking about how many people have the privilege to have sat back and still say 55 years later, I'm still in relationship with my best friends. Relationships matter. Friends that made me a better athlete. I was going to talk about Greggy Daniels and Paul Childs and Tony Thompson, and the Lord blessed me tonight to have to add one more to the mix that I was not expecting to see. My brother, Mr. Henderson, is in the house, all the way from California. I have not seen him since 1986, and I was so blessed for you to be the first person I saw, Scott. Yes. Brought back memories of 2-a-days, running 30 hills, battling out in basketball practice, trying to figure out who's going to be the assist leader between me, Paul, and Greg, who's going to lead in steals. And then when we shifted the track, the battle was between Paul and I. Who was going to be the fastest man in southeastern Ohio? How much of a privilege it was for me as an athlete to know that my best competition were my teammates, and how we went to battle and conquered everybody that we came across. I'm also blessed to have phenomenal athletes in my family. Now, as good as an athlete I was, came with a little braggadocious mindset. And I thought I was the best in the family, and commonly would talk about that. And so I thought I was the best football player. Then my cousin David here decides he doesn't want to allow me to have that. So he decides he wants to be first team All-Louisiana linebacker, go to Nebraska when they were the kings of linebackers, and then play in the NFL for a multitude of years. And so now I'm number 2. So I thought, well, if I can't be the best football player, at least I have the record for the longest touchdown. It's 88 yards. And then my nephew got involved in playing high school football. And I went to go see him play, and he was first in 99 yards. And he caught that ball and started running down the field, and I came running because I was thinking he's going to score. And at the 50-yard line, all he did was start pointing at me. And ran the last 50 yards of that 99-yard touchdown, pointing at me to let me know 99 is greater than 88. So then I was like, well, what do I have left? Well, I'm now telling myself I'm the best basketball player in the family. And then my cousin Lisa decides she has a problem with that, becomes all-state, goes off and plays at Butler University, and now we all have to concede she's got the best pure jumper in the family. number 2 again. So after all that, all I had left was my academics, and I thought, well, I got this one. I'm the smartest person in the family. It's not open for debate. Guess who had a problem with that? My oldest daughter. She's ended up going to Vanderbilt on full presidential scholarship. And once again, John Jackson is now number 2. But what I will say, one of the things I'm most proud of, and this all relates to being a Blue Devil, is the legacy of the Jackson men with the school. My father was the first. My father, to my knowledge, was the first black quarterback that Zanesville has ever had. And that has always meant something to me. Then I came through and I played in the stadium that was named after the person that I was named after. That was special the first time I scored a touchdown on that football field. Then my cousin Chad came through and played on that stadium. And then lastly, his son, Julian, right here, to my knowledge, is the first player in Zanesville history that has started 4 years in a row and is now playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Relationships matter. But I wouldn't be here today, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the people at this table. My brother, Ronji, as great as an athlete as I think I was and as great as an academic I was, he's a better artist. The best I've ever seen in my life. Maybe one of the best artists, or maybe second, that Zanesville has ever seen. I have to honor my mother and my father because at the end of the day, they're the ones that established what we would consider as the Jackson culture and our thought process, and their fundamental viewpoint was people matter, things don't. People matter, things don't. And so we invested all of our time, our talents, and our treasures in family functions, family barbecues, family birthday parties, and all of our vacations were not spent going to great places around the country. We went to Oak Ridge, Tennessee to be with family. And because of those investments, that I learned to laugh because of them. I learned how to sacrifice because of them. I learned how to love people because of them. And one of the things that I just want to acknowledge is that my family, we're 50 deep up in here, is a reflection of all those commitments to family that are here from Miami, from Atlanta, from Indianapolis, from Buffalo, South Carolina, from Detroit, all because they also believe in the notion that relationships matter. And it would be a disservice if I didn't end my comments talking about my firstborn right here. She's my heart. And when she was born, I began to fully understand what the primary purpose and objective for a man's life is. And that was to learn how to position your children in ways that I wasn't. To give her access to people and to places that I didn't have. To create possibilities for her life that I couldn't even fathom being a young man growing up in Zanesville at the time. And I have to admit that out of all the successes that I'd like to believe that I had, being a father and raising her and her 2 sisters ranks number 1. So, in closing, I just want to say how much it's an honor to be able to stand up here and see all of you guys here in this room and all the other honorees and just recognize that my face is going to be on that wall, that my children will be able to come through here and be able to say, that's my daddy. And it's a beautiful thing because by being able to do that, I get to represent my family, I get to represent my friends, I get to represent my hometown, and ultimately what I want to leave you with is I always have been and always will be a ZHS Blue Devil for life. God bless you.
I think one thing we've learned from Selena and from John is that Wayne Clark can make you do anything. Be careful around Wayne. Our next inductee is likely the only one in our Hall of Fame who can credit the use of finger paints as her starting point. Fritzie became hooked on art as a 9-year-old at Garfield School. After graduating from ZHS in 1955, she went on to earn a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from Ohio State and then a Master of Art degree from San Diego State. Fritzie has been a teacher of art and a practicing artist in Ohio, California, and New Zealand. You can find her works in a myriad of media, including steel and concrete. Her outdoor sculptures can be found on university and hospital campuses and in San Diego's Embarcadero district. Her favorite project is the Whispering Bench, which she completed in 2020, which was a fun year. It's a polished cast concrete creation on the Cal State University San Marcos campus that amplifies even the slightest sound. And I'm going to San Marcos to check that out someday. Please welcome Fritzie Burkhardt.
This is exciting. It's an honor to be chosen to represent the class of 1955. Thank you to Bill Factor and Gloria Pointer for nominating me and twisting a few arms to make this happen today. Our class, the class of 1955, born in 1937. That means we were born before World War II and we were right between the greatest generation and the baby boomers. We were too young for the World War II and too old for Woodstock. So we were unlucky in that way. We are called the silent generation. It's because we didn't protest very much, we didn't volunteer very much, we mostly just had fun. We drove stick shift cars, we went on sock hops, and we had cell phones. We didn't have cell phones, but we were text messaging because we would write a note on a piece of paper and hand it to the person who you meant to have. And I think that's why we're all such good friends today, because we were forced to talk to each other face to face. We couldn't talk on the phone. But I remember one text message in particular that I sent, and I still have that today, and it was to my boyfriend in the 10th grade. He didn't know he was my boyfriend. He didn't know who I was. But the message started, "Dear Carl, someone asked me to go on a hayride, but if you'll get angry, I won't go." I got a message back that same day on the same piece of paper, and he said, "I don't care." That broke my heart. Carl couldn't make it today, but he would love to be here, I know. Now, as a member of the silent generation, I'd like to say a few words. Thank you, Bill, for assembling a really wonderful group of people from our class of 1955. That includes Pete Crossland, Gwen Downing, Ruth Ann Colson, Linda Warren, Joyce Hill, Doug Palmer, and Fanny Brill. Would you please stand? I want to not only celebrate what's happening to me today, but our own combined achievements. We're lucky to be here and fortunate, and we have our own individual accomplishments and achievements that we all can be proud of. My classmates meet in Zanesville on a regular basis. We know how each other is, what ailments we have, and what we're doing. And we're still here. We're a few of us, but we're still here. Now, I would not be receiving this award were it not for the many Zanesville teachers that encouraged and fostered my interest in art. Many different disciplines that encouraged that desire. When I was in the first or second grade in Garfield Elementary School, I learned how to finger paint, and I was enthralled. It was a magical experience. My teacher, I wanted to be a finger painter when I grew up, I decided. In the third grade, Miss Doolin told wonderful stories and taught the class practical lessons, like how to tie a tourniquet on your arm if you were bleeding to death, and how to tie a sling if you broke your arm. She also took a group of kids her students on Ash Wednesday to go to church, and I don't know if they had parental permission, but she did that. Our first day of classes at Grover Cleveland Junior High, all the 7th graders were ushered into a room and met with this very stern lady who said, if you don't study, don't do your lessons, if you don't behave, when you grow up, no one's going to want to know your opinion on anything. And that frightened me. And I have to say, it's been a long time since anyone asked my opinion on anything. Mr. McCormick of Grover Cleveland taught me how to draw with Indy ink, and I found out how permanent that was. I loved sewing in junior high school, and I learned to make cinnamon toast, which I still make today. Miss Thompson had one whole class where you could do whatever you wanted, and that resonated with me because that's what I liked. Miss Dawkins and the drama class taught us how to apply stage makeup. Pete Crossland was my partner, and we learned how to put makeup on and remove it, and that's a memorable event for Pete, I know. And I have to thank my wonderful husband, Ian. He encourages me all the way, all the time, and he's always been wonderful in every way. Now, to all the teachers in the room, you notice how much I remember from 60 years ago? Bless. Now, I want you to remember, someday some student of yours is going to be standing up here telling what you did in your classroom, so you better be careful. Thank you again. It's been a wonderful honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
For those of us who were fortunate to be around here in the middle 1990s, we have memories of long lines out to Blue Avenue, waiting to get into the old Windland Gymnasium to watch the Blue Devils play basketball. And then once inside that sweltering room, and I'm pretty sure they made it that way, we were treated to a show, and the ringmaster was Edwin Young. As a junior point guard, Edwin helped lead ZHS to its 3rd state championship in 1995, as the Blue Devils went undefeated to take the Division I title. He was named the most valuable player of the Final Four, and that was just one of many honors Edwin earned before he went on to play for the Dayton Flyers after graduating the next season. Edwin now owns and operates his own State Farm insurance agency in Cincinnati. In his spare time, he's also an NCAA Division I men's basketball official. He works 9 different conferences across the country, and he has been assigned to work in the past 5 NCAA tournaments. And personally, having been around basketball my entire life as a player and a sports writer and as a broadcaster and as an announcer, my expert opinion is, having played for Scott Aaronholt and being a Division I basketball official, he really likes to get yelled at. Please welcome Edwin Young.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try to be as eloquent as Mr. Jackson was. It's always good to follow a great, not only leader, but a good speaker. Even though he's with Nationwide, I'm with State Farm. I'll take that. I can definitely respect that. So, wow, I look out and I see so many familiar faces. So many faces that is just of things, of people that have made big influences. As I was here running the hallways, not this hallway, of course it was the old Zanesville hallway in Zanesville community, and so it's just great to be back home. It's great to be back. The theme of my conversation tonight is going to be the process, the journey. The ride is better than the destination. All right, and we can talk about the destination, and I think When you look at the bulletin and you see all the different accolades that I have accumulated, that's the destination. But I want to focus a little bit on the ride. I would tell you February 5th was different for me this year, around 9 o'clock, and I typically don't answer my phone if the name doesn't pop up on my phone for various reasons, and a lot of it's because, of what I do in officiating and things of that nature. But what caught my eye was, it was Young. I saw it Young. Michael Young. Well, maybe it could be kin, it could be family. So I picked it up. It was 9 o'clock, February 5th. And I answered the phone. He said, "Edwin, this is Michael. And I want to personally tell you that Zanesville High School wants to induct you into this year's Hall of Fame class." So Michael, thank you for the phone call. I'm glad I answered it. Appreciate it. I want to highlight one individual, but I want to also acknowledge many for my speech here a little bit. I came here to Zanesville unwillingly. Didn't want to come. But I came due to my mom and parents, and I was about my daughter's age, Layla, 13 at the time. And family took a turn. I was out in California, came to this place called Zanesville. It took me a while to learn how to spell it. And I remember being picked up by my Uncle Leon. Didn't know him really well, but he was there with his 4 boys, Adam Gators, which a lot of y'all may know, Nehemiah, Aaron, my cousins, and so on and so on. But I came, and in California, all I did was play basketball. And fortunately out there, the weather was pretty conducive. I didn't have to pay to play. Coming back, I was like, what is the YMCA? When I came back here, we had to go into the YMCA, and so I took my daughter by there a little bit today. But I just wanted to play. And my cousin, Kurt Allen, I wish I was able to see him, he made the team. He made the team, Roosevelt team. And I didn't know about this rivalry, Roosevelt, Grover, didn't know about all that, but we went to Roosevelt. And I remember him saying, "Listen, I'm going to go call coach, talk to coach." I'm like, okay. He said, "We've already had practice, but I'm going to see if he can just give you a tryout." I said, okay. And he came, he was like, "It's not good, man. It's not good. I don't know if we're already 2 weeks in, and he got the team." But somehow, some way, he got an opportunity to get me in front of my first coach ever here in Zanesville. My first. And the coach is here tonight. And this man has been, it's been great in many ways. It still is. Jeff Moore. There's about 16 people on the team. And I thought there was 2 teams, but it was just 1 team. I'm like, wow, what the heck? And I brought this just in case. People that know me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, so. But he gave me a chance. And he said, "All right, I'm gonna give you 1 night. We're gonna go through it, and we'll see what happens." Well, I went through the line 3 or 4 times, all 16 people, and they didn't score on me, and I played. And at the end of the night, he was like, "What number do you want? What size you want? We'll take it off the player." And the rest was history. So, Coach, thanks. Because that's all I knew. And I came here, didn't know nobody outside my family. And I just wanted to play. So I did that, and I met friends, and I did very well. I think about Mr. Downer. I think about all the different ones. And we competed, and it was awesome. It was awesome. 8th grade, same way. I don't remember losing much, but we had a great time. Then I remember going through the process, and still tough because I was getting bullied. I was a late bloom. I had trouble speaking, so something like this 28 years ago, man, it would have been tough. So what did I do? I just had a ball in my hand, and I played, and I shot, and I shot, and I shot. Cuddy Dixon, we took a ride to Cuddy Dixon Park. That's where I cut my chops. I learned how to fight for myself. I learned how to stand up for myself. Munson, and now it's not Munson no more. I went by there, and I think they're developing something. But that's where I played. And so then, you progress through, and then you go to high school. And then high school is like, wow, okay, let's get after it. And high school was great. I had a familiar coach come back, Chad. I had a familiar guy come back. And it was the first coach that I had when I came to Zanesville. It was Coach Moore. And I was like, thanks, God. I was so happy. And I thought I was going to play freshman. I didn't play freshman ball. I did pretty well. I won't run through my destination. I mean, it speaks for itself, but I had an opportunity to play JV, and he brought me up. And we did pretty well, Coach. I don't know how many we lost. We didn't lose none, did we? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, we have that big goose egg. You're right. It was all coaching. It wasn't us, Coach. But it was a common thread, and I was finding my way. And then I remember that freshman year, Coach A was just grinding. He saw something. Coach Aaron, I called him Coach A. Where's he at? There he is. We were grinding. He was setting the path with these camps coming in the summertime. This thing called Bigger, Faster, Stronger. He was on the cutting edge. And now it was not only playing, but also lifting and getting your body right. And my freshman year, he brought me up. He brought me up. I remember I was just happy to sit on the end of the bench. I think I was sitting with, I don't know who I was sitting with, but we were just having a good time. I remember having my, varsity jersey on and just seeing familiar upperclassmen, Jay Spargrove, Matt McGee, Robinson, Hodges, seeing all of them. And then I remember we was in a tournament game, and he said, "Hey, Young, get in." And it was in the midst of a game. I mean, it wasn't like we were getting blown out or we were up 15. He was, "Get in, let's go." And he believed in me, Coach. He was here. I think it was maybe Steubenville, Chillicothe. I don't know what team. I remember that the game was so fast. And I was just like running around, running the flex, making sure I down screen, I made contact, making sure I flare, make sure I got the ball to the right people. But the ball always landed in my hand. It was a close game, and I got fouled. Maybe it was strategic on their part. I had a freshman there, and they fouled me a couple times. And I struggled at free throws. Mom, I struggled. And I think I missed 3 front ends of a 1-on-1. And we lost by a couple. And I remember us walking down, and I remember Coach having his head in his hand all the way in the back. And you may not remember this. He was like, and all the guys were leaving. And I walked in as a freshman. I said, Coach, we're going to win. We're going to win the state. I'm going to win the state for you. I'm going to win the state for you. He looked up. He said, man, get out of here. He said, get out of here. I didn't have a car then. We were struggling. I think Mom was waiting for me. But I knew then. I knew he was building something. I wanted to be a part of it. Sophomore year, played, moved well, and the rest was history, you know. Many that were around here at this time, if you think about the movie Hoosiers and how that, you know, that movie, how that played out, that's how I felt like it was Zanesville, but it was even 20 times bigger. And he used to have stuff, Coach, on Saturdays, weekends, and I remember him coming in. Another pivotal moment for me was he said, no one in here is getting offers from any colleges. No one's knocking on my door. You guys think you're ready, you're there. And I remember stretching. I was like, you know what? That's going to change. And it changed. We had a lot of coaches come in. I remember you calling me down out of history class and saying, Bobby Knight and I think Dan Dockage from Indiana was here. Wanted to see me. But I've already, I think, committed. I already went to Dayton. But Coach, I've had a lot of success, a little bit on the hardwood, I would say. But I've told you this, I would give the 4 years up at Dayton for another 4 years. This was family. We had a great chemistry. You believed in me. You asked me if we needed a timeout. We had just the calmness. You knew when to call. You knew how to make things, put us in the right position to excel, to exceed. And I use that same outside of this game of basketball. I use it in life. So many things that you and Coach Moore have instilled in me through those times. Very unforgettable. I remember having a long line after after school, people trying to get into the game. I had one gentleman tonight, I don't know where he's at, he used to call it Blue Heaven. There he is. He said, I'm trying to get a ticket to Blue Heaven. It was hard to get a ticket. So I want to say thank you to those two men. Pivotal. I love you both. It was the pivotal time of my life because I didn't want to be here. But you made it home. Basketball was home. I want to recognize, I'm a big believer, is that we vote with our time. We'll never get this time back. We'll never get it back. So these individuals that are here tonight representing me and my family, I want to just acknowledge you and say thank you. To the table in the back, I got little Jay. I have Tracy. I have JC, James Kern. I have Courtney, brother, Erica. I got my brother and Alfred Smith, Shamika. Thank you. Means a lot. Talk about the inner of inner. Y'all didn't know me back in 92 to 96. Thank you for being present. Thank you for voting with your time. To my family, I see my sister over there. I love you, sis. To the best brother-in-law a guy can ask for when it comes to his sister and Ron. You really ran the playbook. I've been through a marriage and I should take your playbook, man. Freaking awesome. You got two beautiful boys, handsome men, and Ron and RJ and Lenny. To my mentor, Mo, Mama Faye, thank you. Appreciate it. My cousin Scott Jackson, I was surprised too, man. When he said he was going to travel 3,000 miles to come and be present, he voted with his time. Thank you. Means a lot. You've always protected me when I was growing up. I think you saw something in me before. Thank you. To my mom's siblings, my auntie, Joyce, thank you for being here. I've always admired you, Mom always looked up to you, always in many ways. I can see why. So thanks. To Bishop Gators, personally for me, Uncle Mickey, I thought I traveled. This man travels, but he does it for a higher calling. And if I was to come back to be a man, be you. Be you. To the love of my life, I think it's girls are dangerous, Jackson. Dangerous, man. I have two. They're dangerous. Lulu Bear, you weren't even thought of. But hopefully you can see after tonight a little reflection of what your dad represent, what I did at your age. And you can carry that forward, have that be intimate through your process as you grow up. But you're my world. And thanks for being here. And to my future, Francis, thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for clearing the way mentally, physically for me to do what I got to do. It means a lot. And to the one person I want to highlight is my mom. I'm not the Hall of Famer. She is. At 33, she made a decision to bring myself, my brother, and my sister. Woke us up at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. Tagged us. They said, you're moving. And you're going to Zanesville. My brother's going to pick you up. And I remember just going to the airline and dropping here. I remember seeing snow for the first time. 13. But she had a vision. She did what she had to do. And you did it awesome, Mom. 3 jobs. I took my family around all the various spots that we lived at here. Because you tried. You made sure I had the right shoes, the right colors. If Coach A or Coach Moore wanted to have a certain type of shoe, you made sure I had it. You made sure I had money for camp. Before there was the tip-off club that had us money, gave us money, you made sure there was something in my pocket. You even went through some embarrassment. As you're growing up, as kids, you think you know what you're doing and you really don't know. And I want to say, I'm sorry for all that. Because you had a vision, Mom. You had her back. I was able to get a $115,000 scholarship. My brother was able to get a $120,000 scholarship. My sister works for Ohio State Leads, a doctor's office with 7 OBGYN doctors in Columbus. You're the Hall of Famer. You did it. So I want to thank the committee. I want to thank you for this platform. I want to thank all the players. I had a list down here with all the players. They know who you are. David, for being here. It means so much. You know, I heard from Dr. Galloway. I heard from Josh Olinger. I heard from Brett Leno, guys that were in the wars and the trenches with me. They couldn't be here. I want to thank you all. Zanesville will always be home. I feel like it's home. And when I look at that wall, like you said, Jackson, and you see your face up there, and you know how many kids come and have gone, I've left a small imprint, hopefully, to inspire somebody. That they too can come from a broken home, still toe the line, still go to college, still have everything they want to have, and still have the family and the mentors and the relationships here to be able to support it 28 years later. So thank you so much.
I'm going to amend my earlier statement. You played for Jeff Moore, too, so the yelling thing. If any of you were around in the middle 90s when Jeff was coaching that JV team, he was worth the price of admission in the get-go, if you all remember. Right, Jeffrey? Now look at you. You're so calm. You attribute that to your wife. Or something. Anyways, all inductees are going to receive a thumb drive video of the festivities tonight. Mr. Jason Dilley, who is our production coordinator for tonight, what do you want to call it? He teaches here. He teaches this kind of stuff to all the kids. He's got all the students here working tonight, too, to put this together. So we thank him for that, and those will be sent to the inductees once they become available. So to conclude the 14th Hall of Fame induction, and we can't say annual since we missed a couple of years due to that thing, we ask that all the 2024 inductees, along with the current Hall of Famers in attendance, to please come up in front of the stage here and help lead us in the singing of the Zanesville High School alma mater. And for those of you who don't know the words, and I'm not even an alumnus, but I know them, you will find the lyrics on page 2 of your program. So y'all come on up. So I will attempt to start this. I can tell you I am not a ZHS alumnus, but I'm married to one and I've fathered 2 of them. So I've been around long enough to know these words. I'm going to start and y'all take over, all right? Hopefully I hit the right key. Dear old Zanesville High, we love you, and for you we'll ever cheer. And the praises we are singing will echo year to year, like the old and ever faithful. We are with you.